What's up, y'all? I'm Takema. I'm a mental wellness specialist. I grew up in New York City, and I've spent most of my life in rooms, in classrooms, corporate rooms, therapy rooms, basically observing human behavior up close. And it's time. I've got some things to say. So TakeemaTalks is where I'll say them. No filter, no sugarcoating, just me, just truth, backed by clinical experience and a lot of lived experience. I'm a woman with a particular set of skills at this point in my life, and information without solution is noise. And I'm not here to make noise. I'm here to make sense. So if that's what you're looking for, then you're in the right place. Welcome to TakeemaTalks. Now stick around because this first series, it asks a question that you might be able to answer. You still racist? No, for real, I want to talk to y'all about something. Now, I don't really get caught up in all the hoopla anymore, but I'm still out here, and I know it's still out here. It's racism. Like, I can tell you clinically and personally that in 2026, with everything that we know, historical documented history, historical lies revealed, massive amounts of information about the truth available to anybody with Wi-Fi, you need to know that racism isn't complicated, and it's not even a difference of opinion. So today, I'm going to rename it and reframe it. And it's now called stupidism. All right? Because there's no longer an excuse for racism. The information exists. And what hasn't caught up is your mindset. Here's the information and here's the mindset. Now, this space in between, that's why I'm here. And that's what we're going to talk about. Because we're still tiptoeing around white fragility and black attitudes. Now, I have a full definition of stupidism. Go check that out. I'm Takema. This was part 1. Part 2, just stick around because we going in. Now think about what's happened in your lifetime. Think about it. Every lie ever told, we now have access to the truth. The truth is right there in your hand, in your phone. We've witnessed the greatest information revolution in human history. And yet, there are people still walking around here with an early 1900s mindset. That makes no sense. Now, when that white tennis player told Taylor Townsend in the 2025 U.S. Open that she had no class and no education, that's what stupidism looks like. Feel me? Taylor had enough education to beat her ass. Access to information is not the same as the willingness to receive it. Let me tell you something. The truth, it requires you to update what you were taught to believe was permanent. The internet didn't just reveal black history, my friend. It revealed everybody's history, the full picture, the parts that were hidden, the parts that were convenient to forget. And it made some people wake up, but some stayed with the bullshit. Now that doubling down on the bullshit, that's not conviction. It's fear, all right? And fear dressed up as a belief is still just stupidism. Now, I'm Takema. This was part 2. Look, part 3, I'm going to tell you a story about a woman who felt sorry for us and how I opened up her eyes. I was in graduate school when this happened, and it wasn't a in-person class. It was a virtual class, but it was a bunch of us. It was all races, all ages, and we all in class to become mental health counselors. I remember on this particular day we watched a video. I don't remember, but it was a black dude with a sad story. Like, we were briefed on his unfortunate circumstances. Then we were asked, like, how would you approach a client? What are your initial thoughts? And one of the white girls in the class, she explained that her first emotion is that she just felt so bad for him. She felt so much sympathy. She expressed for all of us. She said she just feels bad for what black people have gone through. Our ancestors built this land and we're just so mistreated. Now, don't get me wrong. That's the story. And I understood exactly where she came from. But I had to stop her. Because pity ain't really on the list. You know what I'm saying? Just let me explain. Pity keeps you above. And that's positioning. That positioning, that's the lie. That's the lie that I'm going to dismantle. See, I took the time and I told her, I said, don't feel sorry for us. Because you were lied to more than us. You should be angry. Not at black people. Not at me. But you should feel angry that you were lied to violently, systematically, and for generations. See, you were taught a false history. You were handed a version of this country that protected your comfort and it buried the truth. And sweetie, that's not privilege. That's a setup. See, something shifted in that class and it became emotional, no lie, because I was being so honest and I was pinpointing the bullshit. And she got it. And I knew she got it. And I know she's different from that conversation. But honestly, I'm different too. That conversation and the tears that it led to let me know that the conversation is possible. I'm Takeema. This was part 3. Now in part 4, we're going to talk about behaviors that I've observed for years in the corporate America and what it means psychologically. Stick around. All right, let me tell you something that I've observed over the years, okay? Wait, I'm laughing because it just happened to me the other day in the supermarket, but I observed it for the first time working in corporate America. So the rooms that I was in, the people I supported, executive support. I used to support the big wigs in the C-level suite, as they called it. But I noticed something. Picture this. A black woman and a white woman in the elevator. The white woman, without fail, is going to start flinging her hair and spinning her little ponytail and doing a little twist and up. It's just crazy because when certain white women are in close proximity to black women, that's natural. That's what they do. Now, at first one would think, so what? She's just fixing her hair. But no. I'm a trained observer. I grew up in New York City reading people before I could even read books. And I'm telling you, it's not about the hair. That's about proximity and perceived threat. See, white women were taught that their whiteness was a currency, that their femininity, as it was defined by European standards, was power. Yet when a black woman enters the space, confident, capable, unbothered, something in that white woman needs to reassert that currency. Is it unconscious? I don't know if they know that they're doing it, but I want you to know that we see it. And that too is stupidism. See, it's not an eye roll. It's not a slur. It's literally a performance of superiority so deeply programmed. We're going to get into that. I'm Takeema. This was part 4. In part 5, white fragility, it's really not what you think it is. I don't know. You may have heard of a book called White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. If you haven't, look it up. She addresses, their discomfort. But I want to take it a step further because white fragility, that defensiveness, the tears, the shutdown when race comes up, the I've got black friends, all of that, that's not the disease. It's actually just a symptom. Now let's think about this clinically. If your entire identity was built on a lie, if you were told since birth that your place at the top was earned, it was natural, and it was deserved, and then evidence arrives that dismantles all of that, your first response is not going to be learning. It's going to be threat. It's going to be defense. And it's going to be that fragility. Because the lie wasn't just something that you were told. It became who you are. And nobody gives that up easily. But here's what I need you to understand. Fragility is a luxury. And that luxury, it has a cost. And black people have been paying that bill for centuries. So the fragility has got to go. Not for our sake, but for yours. I'm Takeema. This was part 5. Look, in part 6, I'm going to talk about the black woman's lie and her attitude. I'm going to make it all make sense.